The big kick has started. Agita looks dangerous to me in third.
Youth. Arts. Culture.
Spectrum. Youth, Arts, Culture. Every Tuesdays, 11:50 a.m., bringing you current issues, tips, insights, and more. Only on TRAXXfm. Youth, Arts, Culture, Spectrum. Right now on TRAXXfm.
11:15 a.m. on the clock right now. It's Els Dines with you. This is Trax Momentum, and of course we have the Spectrum interview in this hour. We will be having a phone interview, sad. But yeah, we are also on Facebook Live at TRAXXfm Official. So if you want to come say hi to our guest, or if you want to leave your comments, your questions, definitely head on over to our Facebook page, okay? And I do think that this will benefit a lot of couples who are planning to get married soon, or if you're just interested in pursuing photography in itself, because we are going to be talking to Ricknesh Nair, an award-winning wedding photographer. So good morning to you, Ricknesh. Do I call you Ricky?
Yeah, you can call me Ricky.
All right, Ricky, how are you today?
I'm very good, fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm super excited to be talking about this because I know my brother actually has an interest in pursuing photography. So
okay.
Yeah, exactly. And also, the Malaysian wedding industry is one of Malaysia's leading industries, worth up to 7 billion ringgit a year, right? So, you know, what are some of the key components that make up wedding photography?
Right, so when it comes to wedding photography, as the photographer, you would want to capture a lot of details on the wedding day. So you'll probably be looking at, I don't know, maybe like the getting ready session of the bride and the groom. So you'll be taking a lot of photos, like the interaction between the bride and her bridesmaid, the groom and his groomsmen, the wedding dress. And then probably to the venue itself, where we'll be taking a lot of ceremony-related photos, like whatever is going on. If it's in a church, then the couple in front of the altar, or if it's in a masjid, then the couple like talking to the official, I think. And if it's in a temple, then there's so many things going on. So mostly, it should be focusing on the bride and groom. Well, since we are in a very female-centric society, so focus on the bride more. It's basically more of details and showing emotions of their big day, you know?
Right, of course.
Yeah, that would be the highlight, actually.
All right, so what made you pursue this line of creative expression? You know, what made you go into wedding photography instead of like other kind of because I'm not in this photography line, so artistic one. You know how when they print out pictures, when they take pictures for museums and stuff like that, what photography do you call that? I don't know, man.
I haven't the foggiest.
Yeah, so what made you walk this wedding photographer line?
Right. So back in college, one of my late friends, he kind of introduced me to photography. Like, it was just basic, you know, just taking random shots of friends here and there and stuff. And then he kind of like persuaded me to get a camera. So saved up a bit. I got a camera, and one fine day he's like, "Dude, come with me for this wedding." So I'm like, "What? Attend or what?" He said, "No, you come and shoot with me." So I went, and the whole rushy feeling of shooting a wedding, and just seeing the output in the camera. That kind of like I would say, lit up a spark in me.
Oh.
And yeah, so I haven't looked back ever since.
Yeah. So did you ever like study photography or attended any kind of lessons or classes, or you just like literally just went to shoot and then that's it?
It was more on like theory. So I was like probably just reading about like exposure and I mean angles, composition and stuff like that. I did not go for any course. I'm purely self-taught.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's I would say that there would be a different kind of like view if I were to have professionally studied photography.
Yeah.
But yeah, mine is just purely self-taught, and it's through a friend. So maybe,
it kind of makes you appreciate it even more, right? Because you self-taught yourself, and that, like it's just a nicer feeling. So, congrats to you on being like the award-winning wedding photographer, of course. This is purely my own question, lah. So, when you take pictures of like when you attend a wedding, right, and then you take pictures and stuff like, do you want to tell a story, like when you put together the photo album of the bride and groom and of the wedding, do you want to tell a particular story, like when you shoot, right? Because you mentioned it's all about the details and stuff like that. So when you take pictures of like the venue or like little details about maybe the dress or something, do you think about what kind of picture you want to paint for the for the bride and groom, or even for your own profile?
Yeah, so a day before the shoot, I would usually just like sit down and visualize. I wouldn't like draw up a storyboard or something like that, but maybe you've heard of Pinterest?
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah, so I used Pinterest and probably just create like a mood board to just visualize on what I want to shoot. Given that it's so rushy, sometimes you do tend to forget taking a couple of shots. I mean, I think a lot of people go through that. But the main thing is to have a visual in your head. Yeah, I think this one also goes for videographers in the industry. So they would definitely need to know like a storyboard or mood board as to how they want the final product to come out. So
exactly.
In my case, I tend to do that sometimes, and sometimes things go to plan, sometimes things don't go to plan, but yeah, I think that is just part and parcel of the job lah.
Yeah, exactly. Completely understand. But it's quite interesting to hear your view, because normally what I think, right, because I have a couple of friends who are just interested in photography but not really pursuing any like real business from it. So they're always like, I can never understand, because whenever they take pictures of, let's say, grass or like the land or something, and then they'll print it out, and then they say, "Look, Els, don't you find this amazing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just looking at a piece of land. What is so amazing about it? What kind of story are you trying to tell me?" You know what I'm saying? So then they'll say, yeah, it's just like a nice thing to look at. I said, I can literally walk out to the park and see that. Like, what? Why do I need a picture? So then I'll just ask them, what's the story behind it, you see? So I think that similar kind of idea applies to wedding as well, especially in weddings, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's very subjective. Like exactly like what you said, it's quite subjective.
Right. So normally do your clients or your customers want like a detailed? Will they ask you like what they want or something like that? Like maybe they say, "Oh, take pictures of my dress, particularly my dress." Then what do you do? Just take picture of the dress.
Okay, if they actually spend a bomb on their dress, then yes, definitely they would have that request. But no, actually, I mean, they would actually tell me what they want, how they want the photos to be and all that, based on what they've seen in my profile. So yeah, I would also ask them for their suggestions, basically. So like, you want to cater to their needs.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that is the most important thing, to ask them what they want and stuff like that. Yeah. Right.
So for those who are new, like if you want to pursue your photography kind of journey, so Ricky, how could a newcomer differentiate themselves to gain more exposure? Because I'm sure like when we go online to search for wedding photographers. We can find like thousands, right? But it just depends on what kind of experience or exposure you have. So, like, how could a newcomer kind of work their way up? Like you.
Right. I would say to find your own style. Because a lot of photographers, I personally used to do this mistake. Like, I would find somebody who I idolize.
Okay.
And I would try to follow their style of shooting and editing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Why it doesn't work? Because mainly you are not there to see how they do it. And maybe there's some technical stuff, like you don't know how they place their lights or how they play with lights and how they edit. The most important thing I would say, besides shooting the event, is editing the photos.
Yes, for sure.
So yeah, you need to discover your own flavor of editing and stuff like that. So yeah, my advice would be to find your style. Of course, yes, you look at other photographers, their style of photos, and maybe tweak a little bit from here and there. And yeah, just find your style and flavor.
Right, that's pretty cool. I always try to understand what photographers are trying to capture. Like it can be like a wall. It can just be a wall, right? And then, but the walls are very different, but it's the same wall, but they edit it different, so it's really cool. So completely understand what you're saying. But right now, though, we're going to take a short break. Coming back, we'll talk more about photography gears and stuff like that. But we are also on Facebook Live at TRAXXfm Official. So if you want to ask Ricky some questions, or you want to leave your comments, or you want to come say hi, just head on over to our Facebook page at TRAXXfm Official. We'll be back in a bit.
Good time starts now. TRAXXfm.
You got it locked on the best radio station.
11:29 a.m. on the clock right now. This is Trax Momentum. We are having the Spectrum interview, of course. You can head on over to our Facebook page at TRAXXfm Official to leave your comments. And, if you are interested in photography, definitely head on over to ask your questions. But, Ricky, coming back to our interview, photography gear is obviously a big part of your work. Like you mentioned, your friend was the one who asked you to to join, and then you got yourself a camera. So how should a newcomer invest in gear to get the best returns?
Okay, so given that photography equipment is quite expensive,
yes, they are.
If you have the budget, then you can go splurging on new equipment and all that. But if you don't have the budget, then I would usually advise, like anyone who asks me the same question, I would just say go for second-hand equipment. But of course, you got to see the quality and stuff. But before buying, you need to know what you are buying,
right?
Why you are buying it for. So if you are shooting weddings, there are a certain basic equipment that you need. A specific type of lens that you need. If you are shooting, say, sports, there's also a specific set of lens that you need. So it's best to identify what you want. It's just what you want to shoot. Identify that, and then you just go through maybe your favorite brands, and you see what kind of lenses they have and what kind of camera bodies they have, and then you fix your own budget and go shopping after that.
Go shopping after that. Yeah, exactly. Also, that time, I mean, when you first bought your camera equipment and stuff like that, did you did you go through all the research and stuff like that?
Yes, I did. So that time there was two major brands. I'm not sure if I should say the brands, but
no, please don't.
There were two major brands, and I spent a lot of time thinking about, shall I go for A or B? So yeah, there was I asked so many people, and I did my own research. I checked out YouTube videos. back then there was not many videos on this particular product, so it was more to reading and asking opinions, and then once I finalized what I wanted, then I just went for it.
Ah, that's very cool. That's very cool. So what about when it comes to editing?
Right. So editing, there's few things. You need to know first theory as well. Like what the software can do, and then you can take your time to play around with the software. Maybe just take a few photos and then just explore with like exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, some color grading, stuff like that. And then, always go for original software. Don't go for Ceta Rompa. Mainly because of the updates.
Right.
So you want if you're taking this seriously as a business, so you would need like the official licensed software for you to have the proper updates to sync with your equipment and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay, so this is my own personal question, obviously, But okay, you know what? Since we all know camera equipments, photography gears are it costs a bomb lah. Like you kind of need to work 3 months, and then after that you buy yourself a camera, right? So Ricky, how long did it take for you to break even? You know, after buying the camera, how long did it take for you to break even?
Since I was quite a small timer back then, I think it took me about a year and a half.
All right, that's pretty all right, I guess. Some people never break even.
So lah. I mean, sorry, for that particular set of equipment, it took me about a year and a half. With my current set of equipment,
10 years lah.
It's different lah.
It's different lah. Yeah, okay lah. Good. That's good. Good for you. So, all right. Back to the interview. How does a wedding photographer market themselves? So how do you, Ricky, go out and market yourself? Hey, what's up?
So, for me personally, I have not done that much of marketing. It's usually by word of mouth.
Okay.
Which I think is one of the most important marketing tools out there, if you can call it a tool. Otherwise, I would say just invest in Instagram and Facebook ads.
Yes.
So you should, if you want to get word out there that hey, I'm here and this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm providing. You should have your target audience and.
Profile? You have a profile and stuff like that to showcase?
Yeah, you have a profile to showcase your work and all that. So upload your best work and just market it.
Right.
And you would get your potential reach based on your budget.
Definitely. All right. So how do you stay relevant and get better over time in your journey as a wedding photographer? Like, do you ever cringe at your first work nowadays?
Yes, I do cringe. Sorry. It's mainly because my style back then and my style now is different. So like earlier I said, to find your own style. So that style will definitely evolve over time.
Yes.
Like I see a huge difference in my photos now compared to my photos back then.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's like what you said. I sometimes cringe when I look at my own photos back then.
Yeah.
But to stay relevant, I would say you have to just
be consistent.
I wouldn't say be consistent, but just look out in the industry. Like you see how photographers are taking photos. Like if you follow a set of people who take photos, you're also going to notice that they are also evolving. So I wouldn't say jump on the bandwagon, but you try to
keep up,
to innovate.
Innovate
your
right.
photos, innovate your editing style. Always look out on like YouTube videos on new trends or something like that.
Yeah. So did you self-teach yourself editing as well, or did you have to like attend a short course or something like that?
I'm self-taught in editing as well.
Oh wow, amazing! Because like I sometimes, this is information nobody needs to know, but I sometimes like edit my own videos and edit my own photos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks absolutely ridiculous. And then I'm like, and it takes so long to learn editing. You know what I'm saying? And the software, I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'd rather hire an editor to help me get this done.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, it also depends on what software you're using. So yeah, you have to learn the software first, and then you have to just experiment.
Right, definitely. You know what? We'll be taking a short break, and coming back, we'll talk more about the wedding photography industry. But Ricky, I'm going to ask my producer KG to get your first ever picture, your wedding photography picture, and right now, because I want to cringe with you as well, you know. Let's cringe together. Yeah. Anyway, right, we're also on Facebook Live right now at TRAXXfm Official. So if you have any questions about photography, or if you are pursuing this, definitely head on over to ask your questions, drop your comments, or you can just come say hi to our guest today. Be back in a bit.
Direct to your home, in the car, or at work with 50,000 watts of power and no satellite dish required.
You got it locked on the best radio station.
TRAXXfm.
11:41 a.m. on the clock right now. If you're just tuning in, we are also on Facebook Live at TRAXXfm Official. We are having the Spectrum interview with an award-winning wedding photographer. His name is Ricknesh Nair, or Ricky. And Ricky, you know what? KG is literally showing me pictures of some of your works. Oh my goodness, it's so nice.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's really, really nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
You can go follow him at Imagination. What a nice pun. Yeah, all right. Okay, but anyway, coming back to the interview, what is the best part of being a wedding photographer, in your opinion?
For me, it's just to experience the day itself with the couple and their family. Like the joy, the smiles, the laughter, and all that. So you tend to like be a part of their family for that day. So yeah, it's a very joyous occasion. So it makes you feel good, lah.
Ah, right.
Like you know how you feel when you are in your family weddings and all that. So it's somewhat of a similar experience, lah.
Right. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's really, really cool. Because normally when I attend like my friend's wedding or stuff like that, right? Every time I look at the videographer, the photographer, they're just like not smiling. I think they must be so busy.
I mean, it's part of the job sometimes where we might get stressed. I mean, which job doesn't have stress, right?
Of course, yeah.
So yeah, it's at the spur of the moment. Maybe if somebody would like come and say, hey, so maybe if we don't have a smile, then yeah, sorry lah, it's because of stress. But then what puts a smile on our face is when we turn down and look at our camera at the image that we produce. Yeah, that just puts an instant smile on our faces. Yeah,
because you already know you're a pro. Wow, che.
No lah.
No lah. All right. So, what do you believe, be some changes made that would make the wedding photography industry a much more thriving environment? Which I already believe it is quite a thriving environment. But what kind of changes would make the wedding photography industry a much more thriving environment?
I don't know if I could call this a change or not, but I would say if it would be awesome if we got a little bit more support from like government bodies and all that. I don't know, for simple things like probably discounts or something.
Yeah.
And also grants.
Right.
Because of like camera equipment is not cheap.
Definitely not.
We have to splurge or maybe take loans. So I don't know if we get like discount in loans or low interest rates, or if we get probably discounts from insurance companies for us to insure our equipment, stuff like that. That would actually be very, very helpful.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah, maybe in terms of like say, venue.
Yeah.
If some venues can actually cater to light their venues to actually help photographers, like maybe have like spotlights here and there, that would actually be very, very helpful for photographers and videographers. Because
Cool.
sometimes, like some venues, it's like very dim, and you need to bring extra equipment, and sometimes you gotta like find this person, find that person in the venue.
Right.
And they're like, no, we don't have this light. Oh, you got to use your own light. So yeah, sometimes that is an issue. So if there is that kind of like cooperation with venues and photographers and videographers, yeah, that would be perfect.
All right, it's very interesting hearing it from photographers themselves. Like hearing you say that, right? It's like, oh, like I never thought this would be a problem for videographers or photographers. Wow.
Yeah, it's a very common problem, I would say. Like definitely at least one. I mean, if you meet 10 people, at least maybe 9 have experienced this.
Ah, right. Okay, in the photography industry.
Yes.
Right.
In the
So,
photography industry.
okay, this I don't know why, but KG asked me to ask you. Maybe he's asked you to do this for him before. How do you feel when someone asks you to take a photo with their phone? Honestly.
Nowadays, I don't take the phone.
Okay.
Basically, it's. I mean, to put it bluntly, I would say it's not my job. I mean, it's not to be bad, but the thing is, like, we're already handling our equipment.
Yeah.
And if, let's say, you come up to a photographer during group shots and all that, like, we want to take whatever is going on. We don't want to miss a moment.
Yeah. You're right.
Like, I would usually say, please take a selfie instead. Instead of me, or maybe you could get somebody, one of your friends who is in another group, to take your photo.
Right. Okay. That's actually really cool because I recently just went to a wedding as well, where I was like, I witnessed this. So there's this one girl who's like talking to the photographer saying, can you help me to take a picture using my phone, please? And then the photographer was saying, no. And then actually I didn't understand what was going on because I'm like, geez, it's just a picture, And then now hearing you say that, it's like, oh, I see. So there we go.
That is our reason, but unfortunately, sometimes we do get slack for it. Like, you get feedback like, hey, photographer them sombong lah. What's his problem? Yeah, you get stuff like this. I've actually been scolded by some uncle before, like, hey, just take the photo lah. So, yeah.
Right.
Some things we gotta go through lah.
Yeah, some things you can't please everyone.
Yeah, you can't please everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. All right. So, any parting words for our listeners before we let you go for today? For those who want to pursue, their careers in wedding photographies, or like younger generation who wants to come into the photography world.
Right. So if you don't currently have budget to get a camera, it's not a problem. We have mobile phones, and current mobile phones are actually more than capable enough of taking very good photos. Besides taking photos, do also read up on how to edit photos using particular apps or softwares. So once you've mastered that, maybe from there probably you could do stuff like you can sell your photos online to get some funds to buy your own equipment.
Yeah.
And once you get the equipment, the cycle repeats.
Right, there we go.
It's always a learning
curve.
It's always a learning curve, lah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
All right,
Always
thank you so much, Ricknesh Nair, the award-winning wedding photographer. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your insights. All right, take care. We'll chat with you soon in the studio.
Sure, thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
There we go. Once again, if you've missed out on that interview, it's on our Facebook page at TRAXXfm Official. Got the news coming up at 12. Be back after that.
We will be back next week for more topics, issues, tips, and insights. Spectrum, youth, arts, culture. Only only on TRAXXfm.